Hi, everyone, and welcome to the LatinX Business Podcast. I'm your host, Randy Gomez, and if you're looking to demystify the world of business through the raw, authentic stories of Latinx entrepreneurs, you've come to the right place. As someone with an MBA and an IRS enrolled agent license, I've spent years helping freelancers, partnerships, and S corporations navigate the often tricky waters of the US tax law. Now, I'm bringing that expertise and passion to this community right here. So thank you for tuning in, and you know what? It's time to talk business. Here is a Latinx gentleman who has forced his way to win against all odds, as seen on Fox, US Times, New York Business Now, and Stars of Entrepreneurship. I'd like to welcome Rafael Cristian Rios, the founder and CEO of Coaching Season. Welcome, Christian.
Hi, thank you. I'm so honored to be a guest on your show today.
I know I'm excited to have you on because we have been planning this for a couple of months now. And with our busy schedules, this has finally become a reality. So I'm super excited. And of course, that brings warmth to my heart. And especially someone that I know that is an amazing business person and that is also a friend. So thank you again for coming on the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to spread the word about coaching season and how we can help not only your community, but just all communities, to be quite honest.
I was looking at our notes, and I think we have a really good show that's extremely relevant for a lot of folks at the moment. And let's start with the first question. Tell me, what's your preferred pronoun?
So I go by him, he, his, or as they say, he, him, his is the proper way to say it.
Yes. Okay. So we'll definitely go by those for you. And then tell me more about how you identify within the Latinx community.
As a little boy, I was born and raised in New York, but I was also raised in Puerto Rico. So I consider myself Puerto Rican American.
Nice. Okay, so I didn't know that fact about you, and I've known you for a number of years now. So that always, now that I'm interviewing people, I think that always brings out really interesting facts about folks and their heritage and where they come from. Because unless I ask you these questions in the show, when we hang out or we do other stuff, we're concerned about other items, right? So I like hearing that. I 100% would not have known that you were born in Puerto Rico.
No, I was born in New York, born and raised in New York, and then I was raised in Puerto Rico as well. So my mom would constantly take me back to Puerto Rico, and I went to school in Puerto Rico, and they taught me just enough Spanish to defend myself. I can read it, I can write it, I can certainly sing it.
Yeah.
So those are all great things. So I was blessed enough to be able to not only experience America per se, right, and living in New York,
Yeah,
but also experience Puerto Rico as well.
that's amazing. So, is that where your whole family's from? Like, what's your heritage? What's your background?
My background, it's so funny. And recently I received my ancestry report. It's
Hmm.
official. I am 53% European. I am about 35% sub-Saharan African, and I am 8% Indigenous American. But most of my family is from the Caribbean, so Puerto Rico. There's a large concentration in the areas of Ponce, San Juan, and Bayamon. And Bayamon is where I went to school.
Gotcha. Okay. See, to me right now, I'm like, oh yeah, you're definitely from Puerto Rico. You have a lot of ties back to there, and I think that's important to know about, people's backgrounds because so much in the business world, you hear like this successful person did this, and that in America, but you have roots, and those roots are really what ground a lot of these entrepreneurs. And that's why, I think that's one of my main reasons of why I always ask that question. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. All right, moving along, tell me about your business, right? Because we're here to talk to people about your business, but also we'll later on move on to some specific examples of how you help people. Tell me, how did you start the business of life coaching? Take us through that journey.
I don't know if this is a Puerto Rican trait or a New York trait, but whenever I do things, I tend to do them big. I have been traveling the world giving presentations and training folks on not only life skills, but professional skills as well. And we've come to, well, I should say, I've come to the realization that throughout my presentations, what would resonate the most with people is when I would teach life skills. So for the last 25
Sure.
years,
Mm-hmm.
I've just been teaching many people different life skills in order to help them achieve their goals and to overcome mental health issues and all of the challenges that we face today. So after a little while, folks kept saying to me, well, you really need to do this for yourself. Like, step out of doing it for someone else in corporate America and give back to the community in a larger way. And that has been my passion all along. So
Well, okay.
um,
Yeah.
that's where cooking season came about.
That's so awesome. So, in your corporate job, when you mention life skills, it's so I would say those are not life skills, sometimes are not quantifiable, like in the business world, right? You learn theory and you learn the principles of whatever field you're studying. So, your life skills, give me like an example, like of how, you saw that one skill help someone so much. Well, it could be work or personal.
I think that what I've learned having to work harder, right? Having to work harder at every opportunity. Anytime I wanted to get promoted, anytime I wanted to, change jobs, I had to work harder at the interview, right? Because of the color of my skin, how I looked, and some other factors that were involved as well. But what I've learned is that there's a strategy to everything when it comes to especially the business world, right? There's a strategy as to how we show up, and there's a strategy that we can implement in order to gain the successes that we feel we should be gaining. One of the greatest tips that I learned
Mhm.
was around my resume, right? I think that we were taught back in the day that you create a resume and you give your all into this resume, and then you just send it out to every single employer that you'd want to work for. And
Right.
until today, that's how a lot of people go about finding their next opportunity. And I'll tell you that this is a very big mistake, right? Your
Mhm.
resume is one of the most important documents that you could have. So there's a certain approach that we teach in coaching season that allows you to really treat this as something that is that important, right? That provides your yearly salary, that allows you to live and allows your family to live.
Yeah.
So,
No, and as
yeah.
if you could put your whole existence into one piece of paper, right? Like you need to
Mhm.
limit all your skills and all your qualities. And how do you quantify that all in one piece of paper with
And that's
enough?
another misconception, right? I don't,
Yeah.
we don't have to, we should leave something for the interview.
I know. I could tell you that, after undergrad and even after grad school, I was sending out my resume thinking like that was the end all. This is how I will be judged. This is how people will know if they want me or not. But, there's so much more to me than just what my financial or like business accomplishments or work accomplishments are that I can bring onto the table, right? So, all right,
Right.
Christian. So tell me more about your own personal journey, Christian. Tell me how that began with the life coaching business.
Excellent. So I'll tell you, my journey began 25 years ago when some really special people in Florida took me under their wing at the age of 18 to provide me with opportunities and mentorship and coaching. And when I say opportunities, I mean work opportunities. It wasn't long before I realized the value of such support, right? And how
Yeah.
important it is to have someone on your side. And having someone on your side that truly cares about you and listens to you and gives you really sound advice can really change the trajectory of your life. But then not only that, it has ripple effects onto our families' lives as well, right? Especially in the Latin community, we learn things and then we share these things with our families. So it's really important. And then at the opposite side of that, I'll tell you throughout my journey, I've also seen the impacts of not having this type of support and
Mhm.
how that can also have negative ripple effects on not only your life but the people that are close to you. So my real mission in life has always been to heal others and provide others with hope, show others that life is worth living and that there are some really great things in life and that there are some strategies that you can implement to gain success. Right. I'll tell you, originally, I was supposed to be a minister. I had the calling, but I'm
Yeah.
so glad that it has evolved to a more inclusive level where my company coaching season gets to help everyone no matter what your spiritual beliefs are. In building coaching season, I'll tell you, Randy, I have teamed up with experts in business, in neurology, in psychology, in holistic medicine to ensure that we provide our clients with a full support system that has evidence-based science to it as well, right? That, we are going to implement a lot of great things that we need to do, but a lot of it is science-based, so that way we can help to celebrate those wins and those successes. So that's
Yeah.
where we are today. Yeah.
Awesome. That, that kind of, and I know you for a couple of years now, so that kind of goes along with all the advice you've ever provided me when we meet up. So that makes 100% sense that you've taken some of your life's mission and passions and you actually incorporated those into your own business, right? Which is kind of, that really is the backbone of your business. And that's important to highlight because people want to know who they're working with and what you're going to bring to the table and how you're going to help them, right? So with those strong values, I believe, you will be able to help a lot of people.
Thank you.
But let's see. So let's move on to the next question. When was coaching season founded and what type of services does your company offer?
Coaching season was founded what I consider way back in 2019. And I'll tell you, back then is when I started to study the landscape of coaching. And I noticed that most of these coaching companies are providing great services. And if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be where I am today. But they do provide these cookie cutter programs. And I always felt that these cookie cutter programs, they really failed to address my client or for my client's specific needs or even my specific needs. And if you do your research, you'll notice that a lot of things they aren't mentioned. Their pricing isn't really mentioned anywhere. But if you do your research, you'll soon find out that they charge really high prices for these services. The last time I checked, somebody wanted $3,000 just to rewrite a resume, or $3,000 to gain their confidence. Ridiculous.
Right. That's ridiculous.
Listen,
yes.
If you have $3,000 to rewrite your resume, maybe you don't have to rewrite the resume.
Right. If you have those kind of means, yes, then maybe you're in a good position at the moment.
Exactly. So, I'll tell you, my goal with coaching season is to provide as many people as possible with the tools so that they can thrive as the best version of themselves and stay committed to providing value-based pricing. That is something that we are committed to, value-based pricing. So if you were to go to coachingseason.com, you will quickly notice nowhere near a $3,000 price point.
Right. Okay. No, that's good to know, because people, I kind of feel like people always promote services and stuff, but people don't talk about pricing. And it's important to know that you're not going to be charging like a whole arm or someone's firstborn.
Right. And we're also and it's customized, right? So we charge per session, and then we build a customized program that is going to work just for you in accordance with your goals. So whether that is personal life coaching skills, and there's a lot of different examples about life coaching, but if you think about life, and anything that you want to improve on in your life, whether that's finances, relationships, spiritual, your professional life, we can help you with all of those things. We also do career coaching, which is something we spoke a lot about today because right now the climate is for that. We also offer life event support, right? There are a lot of people who receive some shocking news and they really do not know how to move forward or digest that information or make decisions. So our coaches really help guide you through that.
That's good. Yeah. That's a good offering you have right there.
Yeah, we also do executive coaching. We do integrative approaches to health and nutrition, and we also do addiction support as well.
Wow, that's so much. I mean, Christian, in my mind, I'm like, oh, he just helps people with their careers, but you actually help not only at work, but in personal life, which is, I kind of find it so funny that in the business world, you cannot be a human being. Like you cannot be a person that has a family, kids, or you can't be a mom with 3 kids. Basically, what they want is just like males working in the workforce without any obligations. But the fact that you have all of these services integrated into your business, for me, seems like you actually see that there's more to a person than just their job, and that if you want them to succeed in one area, you really got to look at other areas in their life as well, right? Which is why I go back to like the business world. In the business world, you're not meant to have emotions. You're not meant to have like, you're just meant to be producing, right? Like a robot. So I think those are great services that not only my listeners, but even your clients will also should be taking full advantage of, right?
And you know what? It's so funny that you say that, Randy, because I think throughout my 25 years in corporate America, if you were to go around and do research and dig, you'd find out that I always wore my emotions on my sleeve.
Mm.
And in the very beginning of my career, these folks that I mentioned in Florida, they taught me how to hone in and
Mm-hmm.
when to express that and how to express it correctly. But you're absolutely correct. So throughout all of my years, it's always been always speaking about life skills and always showing a lot of care and emotion for the people that I am facilitating in front of. And that's always what's helped me continue to build that connection and drive that mission. So I think it's time we change that. I think it's time
Yeah.
for employers to understand that we have families and we have lives, and if the dog barks in the background while we're talking, it's quite all right.
I know, right?
Right? And we need to be flexible because at the end of the day, I think most people are not creative from only 9 to 5. Some people are more creative in the evenings. Some people are more creative in the afternoons. So
Yes,
it,
yes, I
it's time
totally,
for growth and flexibility.
definitely. So tell me this, Christian, why do you care so much about helping others? Because
Ooh,
that's what I
that's a
keep
good
hearing,
one.
right? I keep
Yeah,
hearing that how you're in the business of helping. So
yeah.
yeah, why do you care so much about helping others?
I'll tell you, millions of us, and when I say us, I mean myself included, are genetically and environmentally predisposed to having additional challenges in life. That's what I'll call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now more than ever, we feel the ups and downs of the uncertainty that's in the world, right? And this is creating a lot of different feelings, whether that's anger, hopelessness, fatigue, and many other emotions that we're experiencing, anxiety and depression, and just not knowing how to move forward. I know I've been there. And I will
Right.
tell you that there are techniques that you can do to overcome. You can deal with it, right? I'm not saying that we just ignore these feelings. We deal with these feelings and we learn how to move forward in order to continue the mission that we're on, whatever our calling is. And coaching season can help with all of that, right? That's the company that I created, and I'll tell you, I created it because it is a human need and a right to be seen, heard, and truly valued for who we are, right?
Right.
We thrive, yeah, we thrive when someone connects to us to help support us along our journey, including our mental health, right? So and while I will be honest, there are some very fantastic organizations out there that are doing work in these areas,
Uh-huh.
but it's not as personalized as coaching season. And I think there's room for all of us. Anybody that wants to join on this journey of helping others, there's room for many companies to arise, such as coaching season, to really help others. All of
Mm.
these things around going through all of these things myself, studying psychology, aligning with the right people. This has truly helped me to build coaching season, and it was the inspiration of coaching season as well.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of work that needs to be done out there, even changing the landscapes of how or the relationships between employee and employers. So definitely there's a lot of work, and you're right in the battleground of it. So Thank you for that. But let's move into, and then also, you know what, some stuff that you were saying right now reminded me of a current book I'm reading. So, and we could talk about it more about when you give your recommendations. But yeah, I really think that that's probably one of the reasons why me and you connect so much, because we are part of the same tribe, right? We're part of that tribe of like, we're human, we're just not robots. And we definitely need to reconcile this work-life balance situation where I remember like I left undergrad and the first thing, like in my first job after that was like, dude, this is it. This is gonna be the it for the rest of my life. Like, how do I reconcile? Like, I want to be really good at work, but then I also want to be able to leave at 5 o'clock. I don't want to be. I don't want to like be the CEO that stays until 8 or 9 p.m. at night. Like, you know, and it's always been a constant battle in my mind. And how do you like balance those two out? But yeah, let's move on, and we'll come back to like that book that I'm reading, and I'll recommend it to you too as well, because I think you'll love it, and you probably already know of her. But let's go into some case studies. Right now, with inflation at its all-time high, how has that affected your business? And could you provide us with maybe 2 examples of how your company is leveraging the economy at the moment to help your clients?
That's a good question. I think our business has been able to be successful amidst the economic challenges. And I really feel that this is due to our value-based pricing model. Yeah, some examples I think that I can provide you as to how we also leverage what's going on in the economy right now, is we provide expertise in advocating for competitive salaries for
Mm-hmm.
our career coaching clients, which basically means that we assist them in attaining the salary not only that they desire, but we also do the research with them. These are very personalized sessions, and we conduct the proper research to ensure that even, what they desire could still be undermining what that position truly calls for as far as the salary earnings. So we help them
Right,
get to
right.
that number.
Okay.
And then in the same with the great resignation, right? We have an amazing market to work in. So
Yes.
we are helping our clients land jobs quicker than ever. And these jobs are in line with their respective goals. So in this economy, coaching season, I'll tell you, typically we experience multiple job offers. I can show you, like, oh my gosh, so many clients that say, oh, well, which job do I pick? I like all three of them.
Yeah.
And then we go through the proper, and what a nice place to be in, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's such a good position to be at. You know, it's a headache you want to have.
Mhm. Absolutely.
With working with your clients, with those examples that you gave us, how do you measure success with your clients? Is there a magical number of sessions? You know, people, I always want to know, like, oh, is it like 1, 2, 3, or do we need 10 sessions to get something accomplished? Let's give the listeners some advice and tips on how you measure success with your clients.
It's really simple at coaching season. We measure success by the number of wins that our clients experience. But when our
Mm,
clients
okay.
when they achieve their outline goal, we celebrate a win. And then we keep track of their wins. What does that mean?
Yeah.
That you're not gonna essentially go through this, go and build a relationship with one of our coaches for only 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're gone because you're promised that the world is going to change in 3 weeks. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
To happen is we're going to have a conversation with you. We're going to outline your goals. And then at that point, that determines how long your relationship with us will last. But it's all very customized.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it depends on the goals that are being outlined. All right. So what is
And
a
I'll tell
discovery?
you, Randy, real quick,
Yeah.
this is what truly makes us unique, is
Hmm.
that we build a customized plan for what the person wants. You're not gonna call in to be a part of our dream builder program or dream this or right. And
Yeah.
in 4 weeks, you're gonna magically be this brand new person. No, we're gonna look at your life, we're gonna look at your goals specifically, and we're going to customize a plan that is right just for you. And that's why I think we're so successful and we continue to celebrate with our clients because these plans are customized for them.
Yeah. And you know what, especially right now with the way the market is, I think clients are looking out for your services. They should really consider the career coaching services because you could probably put them in a position where they could have multiple offers and get that desired salary aside from, like you said, the salary that they truly deserve.
There's a danger in us becoming very comfortable in our role. If
Yeah.
we've been in our current role for, I know it used to be so nice to be able to say, oh, I've been with this company for 20 years, or I've been with this company for 15 years. But in reality, what that has shown us is what that equates to is that more than likely you are being underpaid unless something magical has happened. And if you were to look at some other opportunities out there, more than likely you could experience quite a pay boost, right? So
Yes, yes, definitely. Okay, so answer this question for me. What is a discovery call, and how can someone listening to the show today can get a hold of yourself or one of your coaches?
sure. I like to think of our discovery calls as a free conversation. That's exactly what it is. It's an important conversation where we get to talk about you, your goals, your hopes, your fears. And during this conversation, um, you will begin. It's so funny because right from the very first phone call, even though the phone call is completely free, we give
Mhm.
valuable, actionable information that can
Mm,
already help the person start to shift the path that they're on. Um, so coachingseason.com is where anybody can go to schedule a free discovery call. All you do is click on the word appointments, and then you'll be able to see the option to schedule a free discovery call with us.
nice. And I will definitely put that in the podcast notes. So, and your information as well, so people could reach out to you, like your email or phone number. But that'll be the main form of contact, coachingseason.com. Okay. So let's see. I always have to ask this question because I guess I could say I'm a podcaster. So what podcasts or books are you currently knee deep in, and which ones do you live by?
One that's always playing for me is the Super Soul podcast by Oprah. She just
Yes,
has so many inspiring speakers on her show,
I
right?
love
And
that one.
she just helps me get up and show up every day, right? Which I think that that's the important thing
Mhm.
for us, anybody that's listening. As long as we just get up and show up every day, um, it'll help us get to where we need to be.
Right, right. I mean,
And
because
then,
there's some days where you're just like, I don't feel like doing anything, but you still gotta show up. Uh, you
yeah,
know? Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. And then, and there's some really good reasons as to why our brains tell us that we don't want to get up and show up, whether that's to the gym, and it all has to do with how we're wired to be from way back in the beginning of time. So even having that understanding could help you talk yourself out of the feeling of not wanting to go. But anyway, I digress. The
Mhm.
other the other question was what book?
Yes.
For me, it's always the Four Agreements, and that's by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yes.
Um, it's always on my nightstand. I'll tell you, these simple agreements are so challenging to actually apply to our lives each and every time. So I reread this book over and over, and each time I read it, it just provides me with new aspects, and it's based
Yeah.
on what I'm currently experiencing in my life. It's a little book,
Mm.
so if you guys don't have the Four Agreements, I'd highly recommend that you pick that up.
Yeah, so I'm so happy you brought up Super Soul podcast by Oprah because I listened. That was probably actually, yeah, that was the first podcast I ever started listening to because I would see her Super Soul Sunday episodes like every once in the while on the TV.
Yes.
But then I kind of transitioned away from TV in the last couple of years because you can get really distracted and you're just like, what am I watching? A bunch of mindless stuff. And and sometimes I need that. Sometimes I just need to watch mindless reality TV shows to decompress. But Super Soul is so amazing. That is where I think she does interview Don Miguel Ruiz, so she's a big fan of him as well. So there's an episode on him there as well. And another big person that she interviews a lot, and she calls her Super Soul sister, even though she is a white Caucasian woman, is Brene Brown. So Brene Brown has
Oh,
a new book that has come out recently, and I'm reading that book. It's called Atlas of the Heart, and it has so much information. It's actually really good because she goes through describing like the definitions of some emotions and like the difference between feeling excited or feeling anxious and like how sometimes we misclassify our feelings and the choice of words really does make a difference in terms of like how you see the world. So I like it a lot. It's called The Atlas of the Heart. So definitely recommend it to you and all the listeners. But yeah, Brown, Oprah, and Don Miguel Ruiz, they're all like part of the people that I follow too. And sometimes in life, so many things are not quantifiable in numbers. I mean, a lot of things are quantifiable in numbers. I, for example, prepare taxes for a living, right? And these podcasts, like there'll be a number of viewers that are listening to it week after week. So that's quantifiable, right? But there's so many aspects in our lives that we're so complex, I believe. What you're doing as a business and actually seeing like proven results with accomplishments of those wins and goals that you guys are achieving, like that is the other half of life. I wish the corporate world had more of that because then we would be celebrating other successes, not just like monetary successes. But I'm super excited that you brought these up because I feel like that's why we're part of the same tribe because we probably are inspired by the same people. Very
absolutely.
very very good stuff for people and for our listeners to follow. Well, I think that brings us to our last question, which is always a sad one
Oh, so
because I
fast,
feel like
so
I
fast.
feel like we can talk forever.
I
But
know.
my last question for you is final takeaway type of question. For our community, what type of advice would you give future generations of Latinx business owners and current career switching Latinx people who are on the need for your type of service?
This is a great question, and I'm going to do one up from that. I'm going to provide advice that could work for anybody that's listening, whether you have a business or not.
Mhm.
This is just once again me going back to life advice.
Yeah,
I'll tell you, I've learned, and it's been proven that as human beings, our brains have mastered the skill of holding on to every emotion we have. And then we turn around and we label those emotions as who we are, right? These labels begin to create many limiting beliefs within us. And then in doing so, we create a great deal of heaviness in our own bodies. This heaviness can physically make us sick, and it does. And it negatively
yeah,
impacts our daily lives, right? So I want people to know that we have more control over our bodies, over our nervous systems, over our brains, our emotions than we may think. And
mm,
by learning to pause and breathe, we can calm down our nervous system. Just that simple act of pausing and breathing will help you with your trajectory in life and can dramatically improve how we react to everyday situations.
right.
This is an effective tool that will positively impact our mental clarity and physical wellness, right? And I'll tell you, Randy, not only is this knowledge backed by many scientific studies, but I have personally implemented these techniques in my life to elevate my life and improve my mental health.
Yeah,
And while we are all on a very unique journey ourselves, I have seen and I continue to feel massive improvements in my own well being and my success by really taking a look at life. So, I'm not saying that the only thing that has created all of this transformation is breath work.
Right.
um, we need to employ multiple modalities, right, in order to address
Yes.
our mental health. And that includes doctors and therapists and sometimes medications, whether that's natural or not, right?
Right.
Um, I have, I'll tell you to share personally, I have held on to this multifaceted support system for over 15 years of my life to get over any trauma that I've experienced in my past. So
Hmm.
um, it's a scientific fact, and I am a testament that you can change the lens in which you view the world and create better positive outlooks in life, and through that will come better opportunities for us. So
Yes.
I think that really focusing on our mental health and how we look at life could really help us with our business, with our relationships, with our financial life. There's just so many things. So that is my final message to the audience is truly to have take a look within. How are we thinking? How are we approaching life? And if you need help, coaching season is here for you.
Yes, definitely. Listen, I think that your company is well positioned to be helping so many individuals now that are, I feel like, well, I think Oprah said it in one of her podcasts. There's a renaissance happening, an awakening culturally, where people are waking up. People are asking that question even more now, like, who am I? What am I meant to be doing here? And how do I help make this world better? Right. And so much of it starts within yourself, like you just mentioned. And I love that you said that it's a myriad of support systems that you need to have because it's not just going to get mental health therapy. It's not just, creating a strategy for your career. It's not just being a good person, it's also means showing up. So I appreciate your time, Christian. I don't want this to end, but everything does have to end in my show. Right. But I do appreciate you taking your time on this Saturday morning because you could be doing something else. And so yes, thank you so much. I will also be providing your contact information on the podcast notes for anyone that wants to reach out to you. But again, thank you for being on the show. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and share this podcast with your network. Your support helps our Latinx business community grow stronger with every listen, and I truly invite you to connect with us. Send us your questions, your comments, or even your own business stories to randy@rgtaxes.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time, keep learning, keep building your business, and keep growing your business mindset.